to slide over a little bit. I just realized you're out of the camera.
That was okay.
Get a little bit closer.
I am here.
Yeah, see how crunchy it is? Let me, I don't know, we can't win around here.
There's never any winning.
Hey, everybody. I think we're live.
I don't know, probably. Feel like we are.
Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Austin.
And I'm your co-host, Ian.
This podcast was created to provide you, our heroes, with new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure.
Our show may not be suitable for young children, but neither is our D&D games.
Especially in Descent into Avernus. It's definitely not suitable for children. Don't know if anyone's ever read through it, but, well, people die a lot.
Okay.
They're also in hell.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's noted.
Oh, come on, man. D&D's not satanic. Okay, what kind of game are you playing right now? Me, you know I'm playing Descent into Avernus.
It's just like,
Summoning demons and shit.
This might be a bit... I'm not sure how to explain this.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show and you'd like to support us, please visit us at critacademy.com. Check out our Patreon page. Check out all our best-selling D&D supplements. As well as subscribe to our newsletter to be entered every single week. What are you doing?
I'm doing this in my hair.
I'm gonna have to slow that down and get one of those one of those shampoo commercials.
Yeah.
Somebody snip that and do that for me. Anyways, subscribe to our newsletter and be entered to win Fat Loots every single week. We got a really great show for you guys today. We are talking UltraModern 5 Redux. For those of you that want a little bit of future, a little bit of modern, a little bit of cyberpunk, any of those things, we've got the supplement for you.
And it's currently an Electrum bestseller, too.
Yeah. It's,
If you can't tell, I like the cyberpunk whole thing going on.
Looks like he jumped right off the pages.
It was great. I loved reading through it. Some weird shit going on in there, and I loved it. Every single second of it. It was great.
For sure. So I'm really excited for that. We want to thank you, Crit Nation, for joining us today here at Crit Academy Studios, where everything's made up and your roles don't matter.
Yep, that's right. Your roles are like an alien race without any advanced tech, which is probably a really shitty alien race.
Or they're like they're more of like
or they're like parasitic, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinking. So they start burrowing into people, and then they just gain all
the little critters and take over their earworms and stuff and mind controlling.
The worst part is I'm not sure if you're referring to the aliens from Parasite or Alien.
Both.
I guess both. They did both kind of, or mind flayers. Yeah, mind flayers. I guess are kind of.
They're the list.
Yeah, they're the kind of a list.
Mind flayers are great. That's probably why they were chosen to be the new Baldur's Gate 3
like main
story arc. Yeah, between it looks like it's between the Battle of the Githyanki and the Mind Flayers, and we're unfortunately stuck in the middle.
We're just kind of like, hi guys, we're here. It's not great.
That's funny. So for our Let's Talk About Blank segment today, I want to talk about something interesting. Obviously, we're in this big pandemic thing with the coronavirus and everything, and people are locked in their homes. Well, Critical Role has released an adventure that takes place in is it Wildemount or Wildemount?
I think it's Wildemount is what I've heard commonly.
Okay.
But I can't confirm it.
That'd be a Matt question.
Yeah,
hey,
it would be a Matt question.
I think he's watching. Is it Wildemount or Wildemount? How you gonna? Is it Wild? No, it doesn't matter. Anyways, they released it over on Roll20. There's a link in our show notes.
Matt says Wildemount.
It is Wildemount. Wildemount. Hey,
okay.
Wildemount. Then.
Right? Yeah. Like, why bother? So I thought this was really cool. You get 4 maps that come with it that you need. Plus, all the monsters are already placed on the maps. This is a wonderful experience for DMs on the tabletop, the virtual tabletop system. It's a really great take on the system, but I also just think that it was really cool of them to do it. The adventure is called Frozen Sick. Which is first level. So this is a great opportunity. If you haven't tried the virtual tabletop stuff, Roll20 is free to create an account and try it up. You can go back and listen to our Roll20 episode. Lots of good stuff in there if you haven't already.
And on fairness, too, you can do a lot with Roll20 even with the free account.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know that I've ever paid for it, and I still feel like I get way too much for a free platform.
Sometimes
hey,
it just be that way.
Tater, thanks for joining us. Anthony, you guys are awesome. But like I said, I thought that this was really cool for them to do. There's a link in our show notes. You can go to critacademy.com and click on the blog post for the UltraModern 5 Redux. There's a whole blog. It's got all our links, all our show notes, and everything in it. So do that.
This is not a tiny document.
It's not? I don't know how big it is.
412 pages.
Oh, you mean the Redux thing? Yeah. I thought you were talking about the adventure. I was like, I don't think
I was
it's
like, the
that
adventure's 400 pages? It's like, holy cow.
So
Sorry, I was scrubbing up another PDF.
So if you've got any sick friends and you just want to try out for the first time, I highly recommend it. You can do it all for free right from your desk. So check it out. It is the Critical Role's Explorer's Guide to Wildmount Frozen Sick Adventure.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So now on to the meat and potatoes. Oh wait, no, we got a prize.
We got a prize to give away first. Yeah.
Yeah. What are we giving away today, Austin?
What we always give away, John. Our giveaway today is from Loresmith, the Modular Dungeon Tiles Arcania. The modular dungeon tiles are like an easy way to create your own beautiful digital maps. The Arcania lets you make dark, shadowy dungeon maps, rich with fumes of arcane secrets. In case you want to be in like a little dungeon and you just smell the magic in the air. Your paladin would probably have a kick out of it. He's like, I can smell the... Nope, that's not evil. That's magic.
Which isn't inherently evil. Even
Not
necromancy
inherently.
is not inherently evil.
Sometimes you can just go up to somebody and be like, I would like to raise your dead one if that's okay. And sometimes they'll be like, you know what? We hated the bastard anyway. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
How's the meme go again? When you're an adventurer who wants to go against the big bad evil guy for killing your brother? The fighter, you have my sword. The ranger, you have my bow. The necromancer, you have your brother.
I do like that.
I love it. I love it so much. But yeah.
So who is our winner today?
Our winner today is 221 J-Ma Honey.
Gemma, honey.
I think it's right.
If you didn't win, have no fear. You can head on over to critacademy.com/Loresmith and not only get some free digital terrain yourself, but also you can get some one-page adventures and some other really cool stuff.
They have a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's pretty great. He's very generous over there. That being said, on to the meat and potatoes of the episode. Our main topic, UltraModern 5. In the document,
cool.
It's called U5, which... Okay, that sounds
Why not?
way less cool in my opinion, but
And just so we're clear, this is the
Redux.
The Redux.
Yep, which is they kickstarted it recently, and it now has been updated with new art, some refined rules, and lots of additional content.
A lot of really fun stuff in here.
So-
I'm going to be excited to talk about it.
So what exactly is UltraModern? It's a supplement designed to offer classes, backgrounds, feats, skills, rules, equipments, monsters or enemies that are outside the traditional fantasy setting of D&D, right?
It pretty much overhauls D&D.
Yes.
It uses like the bare bones of it and then just says, here you go. Here's a new world to set in.
It is worth noting that you do need like the basic core rule books.
Yes.
Specifically the player's handbook to run some of this stuff, because a lot of the things that it jumps off of are those rules. So make sure that you got those.
Yeah, you still need everything else for sure.
So getting into it, one of the big things that really excite about this to me is they completely redefined how classes work.
Yes.
Like they gutted it.
It was kind of confusing at first, actually. I was like, okay, there's some stuff going on. I'm not quite sure how it's all going.
So there are the new classes presented in U5. Although they're similar in build to those in the official documentation, you will definitely notice some exceptions. There was one that got me really excited. Everyone knows how I like to use hit dice as a resource, and there are literally some archetypes that use that to power their effects, which I thought was awesome.
I think the one that I chose, used hit dice as well.
Yeah, I think just genius. Clever. They must watch the show, clearly. Even though it came out forever ago. That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be really cool.
So,
maybe it was like an update. They're like, that is brilliant. We got to use Justin's idea.
mean, UltraModern's been around for a while, though. I think.
That's true, but
Yeah.
but like an update maybe. You never know.
The one thing that is really interesting is that all of the UltraModern classes have a martial archetype option. That's intriguing to me.
Yep.
Every one of them. I mean, I guess so does a wizard. He can stab somebody. He's just probably not going to be
It's just
super
not going
effective.
to be, not going to be as
Even
as
the
great.
civilian class. Yes.
Yes.
There's a civilian class.
There is a civilian class,
I cannot
and
wait to talk about our character concept, the average Joe.
it's really, it's quite that.
Oh my gosh. So,
Just an ordinary guy who's lucky and just caught in the middle of it.
We love it.
so yes, they all have martial archetypes, and unlike their fantasy counterparts, that offer the excuse me, unlike their fantasy counterparts, offering these options at the same levels. So their archetypes are no longer bound to specific classes.
Which I like.
This was interesting. It basically means that you can feasibly match any class to any archetype.
It creates a lot of really interesting combinations you can do with a lot of weird stuff. You
Yeah.
could be a mech pilot, but you're a medic in the mech pilot. I think is an option you can do technically.
Your mech is just a big piece of armor that runs around. You open the hatch, pull somebody in, heal them up, open the hatch, and dispose of them out the back.
Yeah.
Like a giant robo-turd.
At least I think you can do that. I don't remember entirely, but there's some weird
man.
stuff you can do in combination.
Now, even though we've read through this, it's hard to
there was a lot of
ingest
information.
everything that's in it, because it is 400 pages, which means we had to do some skimming and stuff. So
Maybe get out of skimming.
yeah, right.
Maybe a lot
I
of
got
skipping.
enough time to sit and read 400 pages in a short time frame of a few days. But anyway, so that was one of the biggest things that was really intriguing. There are also classes that are not combat based. Their power is not in how much damage they do, but how they can alter the course of the story, which I'm a big fan of, because that's the type of play that I like.
And I think that's what you chose as well.
I
It's
did,
something
I
that
did.
wasn't combat based at all. Like, it is completely the opposite, actually. It's I even flipped through that one a little bit too. I was like, this is definitely a Justin class.
Yes.
And I flipped through and I was like, this is really interesting. It really does tailor towards the more social aspect of the game rather than the I'm gonna beat his head in and then go on.
So some of the other things that I think is really interesting is they expanded on firearms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, you gotta have some firearms.
I mean, we know that 5e's DMG has a few options,
Like 8.
but
12.
they expanded on them and added special rules beyond that, specifically to redefine things like laser guns, rail guns, plasma, and even nuclear weapons.
And automatic weapons.
Yeah, automatic too. They added there's a lot. So now,
Again, a lot.
I'll be honest. When I was reading through this, it did remind me a lot of. Were you with us when we recovered Grease Monkey's Handbook? I think that was probably Brandon.
Nope, I wasn't. I don't think I was here.
Random.
Yeah, it was definitely very reminiscent of that, because that is something that got brought into DM's Guild that does some of this. But I don't think it gets quite as creative with some of the rules as UltraModern did. So,
They both do what they do very well, though. So.
yes. And you can probably even mesh what you like from each one and still get a fantastic result.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, one of the things that I thought was really interesting is you have critical area of effects now. That was one of the rules that they changed. So if an opponent rolls like a natural one against a character, or if they roll a natural one against a character imposed area effect involving explosive or firearms, the target suffers additional damage equal to the damage weapon dice. Basically the same roll as a critical hit. So now you can have a critical failure on saving effects, which is interesting to me. Though it is worth noting, it does not apply to effects against players. Only the players get that against enemies.
Interesting. Just because I do play, they added critical failures in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and it goes both ways for sure. But they also changed how the criticals work a little bit in that one too.
Yeah.
So that was a significant mechanic change, and honestly, I kind of like that. But I also realized that you couldn't do that to the players, or you would wipe them out. So
Yeah, there'd be a lot of like, oops, you're dead.
Sorry,
Your whole party's
guys.
dead
Y'all-
because I had a grenade, didn't work out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I definitely can see that being a problem. There was something else in here. Did you guys read at all about the ladders?
I skimmed right past it, unfortunately.
You want to tell us a little bit about that? Or you can just go off what's up on the notes up there
Sure.
if you want.
So the type of story that UltraModern 5 seeks to emulate calls for characters defined less by their role and more by like their backgrounds and talents.
Things that they've developed over years.
Yeah. So a character's capabilities are derived from two sources: a ladder that determines their general traits, outlook, and disposition, and a class that defines their vocational abilities. So things like, you know, what they're capable of actually doing.
Right.
What they kind of specialize in.
Yeah.
So at first level, you can select a ladder. You gain the ladder's first level feature, and you can choose to gain its additional features instead of selecting an ability score increase or a feat at 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th levels, which is a lot.
Yes.
I don't know if... Because I think you can actually sacrifice some of those for other things, right?
Basically, what they're kind of like a collection of themed feats that fit together.
I remember now. Yes, I did skim past this.
Which makes it a little bit different than what you would normally see. Which is really great if you love customization, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the whole thing. You pick and choose these ladder features, and generally the ladder has a theme, but you're not restricted to it. But it helps build out a character for an inexperienced person, but also make sure you get features that kind of line up with your the theme you're going for, but you're not really stuck to that, right? You can change at any point.
It definitely gives the character more options too, from what I remember as well. Like there's some stuff that really like either improves their mechanics or gives them something else to help with whatever they're trying to do.
Now, obviously, we can't go through all the classes and all the archetypes and everything like that. So as we get through it, we've each picked a few things that we wanted to talk about. One of the things that's really interesting is the magic. The spellcraft in UltraModern shifts away from the standard magic style systems and focuses more on natural sources of energy, psionics, and, you know, possession of inanimate objects and stuff like that. I don't know how that's more natural, but
I mean, you know,
energy makes sense, right? You've got geothermal and nuclear energy, you know, those make sense. I don't know that psionics is natural, but it naturally comes from somebody, I guess, if they control stuff with their mind. So, the other thing that I thought was really interesting is, did you see what they did with tech levels?
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I think it's a good shorthand to go by.
I would agree. For those that don't know, what exactly is a tech level?
Basically, they go through, what was it, like 0 through 5? Mm-hmm. And 0 is like the 18th century, while 5 is like, tech can do anything. So, well, it seems like magic.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yep, I think the actual quote was, any sufficiently advanced technology would be indistinguishable from magic. Wasn't that from, like, Thor or something? Who said that? I've heard that before.
I think that was Thor.
I think that's just one of those quotes that's been used in so many ways, shapes, and forms, and so many mediums.
Yeah, it's
it could be, yeah.
Because I do remember him talking about where what you call magic and science, where I come from, they're one and the same. That was his quote. But anyways,
gotcha.
So it's basically a range of, hey, if you want to run your campaign, here are some ideas, and here's the type of tables and stuff to pull your stuff. You know, if you go into an 18th century, you're probably not going to run into a mech. But they don't rule that out. That's actually one of the things to say. Sometimes it's good to pepper some of those things in. So maybe
maybe you find this like really crazy corporation in the middle of nowhere,
or it's like a rundown building. It's got big golems in it that people can get in and control. They refer to it as a golem, but it's like
it's
ancient
literally
mech
just a mech. Yeah.
Launch,
it's pretty cool. All I see is 6 feet. Oh. They must be talking about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed part of the conversation.
You missed a lot of the conversation.
Yeah, I do. So I was really excited by that. Once again, we're not going to get into the super details of it, but it gets pretty detailed on the different things you would include in those different range bands. Or those different tech levels. So Austin, this is kind of my only gripe about it, and it's not terrible since most people like to homebrew or anything. What can you tell us about the setting?
So it's not fully fleshed out, much like, you know, like Ravnica or Eberron. It's definitely not. It just kind of gives you like this literal bone structure of stuff to say like, here you go, you can work with this. And it's like, okay, great. I'm not creative enough for that.
So I kind of I've got.
But I get it.
Yeah,
at the same time, right?
I've got two things I feel about this. One, It's 400 pages. I don't hate them. Right?
Right, like...
They fit a lot of content in there.
Right.
But...
There's so many other things they had to work on first before they could probably give you this.
Yes.
I imagine.
I like Defined Worlds only because I don't have time to make my own. That being said, they do give you enough that even if you're more like me and don't want to build your whole entire world, that you can do with it. And in fact, they have what's called terminals, which is an omniversal setting in which the survivors of the destruction of Earth by an infestation called the Antigen, in I don't even know what that word is, multitudinous. God, I hate being stupid.
I don't know that word either.
Basically, multiple realities are brought together on another Earth that has yet to suffer. Anybody see Crisis on Infinite Earths? Because
that's just what it sounds like. Yeah.
This. Now I'm sure this was out. They started doing this long before Crisis, but so like as a kitchen sink type setting, dealing with alternate universes, it is possible to conduct campaigns practically any type within the Terminals framework, which I think is what they're going for, right?
And actually, it has like Secret Wars too from Marvel, but anyway.
Essentially what it sounds like is it's trying to like, they give you the framework, but it's framework in the reason for that you can do like mold it in any way like you want, right? So it's kind of like putting like plastic pieces together and building something out of it, like a Lego
Now,
set.
honestly, I think that's what most DMs prefer. They want to do their own thing anyway. So if I was to run this, though, honestly, I would just break open my Ravnica book, and I would use that and then run with it.
And just use, like, combine the settings, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do. So let's, next I want to talk about birth. This is something that is interesting.
It's a fancy way of saying race.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of just a really fancy way of saying races, but it's obviously goes a little more in.
Well, I actually don't need this yet, so we've got our, So, I want to go to mine because this is just like an outline of it, right?
Yeah.
Let me pull up my stuff.
Mine was just like the first paragraph on it, and I just went right there.
I already forgot what mine is. Sorry, I'm trying to change screens, guys. Give me a second. So basically they renamed everything, right?
Because you gotta.
Well, and they did it because they also changed some of the structure of some of the stuff too.
Right.
Which is kind of part of it.
Right.
Where's birth at? Starts on page 18.
18, okay.
I should have started with the table of contents.
Yeah, well, we don't do that here very often.
Can I just say how cool the art is in this?
The artwork looks incredible. I remember just keeping going through, and I was like, man, like I want to be wherever that is. It looks cool. I don't know what's going on, but it looks cool.
I don't know. She got lightning coming out of her hands or something, and leaning up against the building.
Either that, or it's an alien that's attached to her hand.
Oh, that's even cooler.
I think she's sucking energy from a plant.
I want to believe it's an alien, but we'll go with energy from
energy from an alien.
Maybe she's the alien.
Right? Anyways,
we just did one of these.
Right. So, excluding social constructs, race separates populations by distinct genetic differences beyond the surface marginal distinctions, which basically means pretty much everyone is considered human unless they're genetically different. Right. So you can have a person that's mostly human but might have a slight defect in their ear. That puts them in a whole different category. If I'm understanding this right. It says, while some races offered here cover multiple variations, others detail a specific entry for a specific style of setting, which is pretty cool. But in nearly every case, these races can be adjusted to conform to the setting or your character concept, which is great.
Yep.
So the monsters or
they're
the
basically
aliens
monsters.
Look cool. Like this samurai guy with 4 arms, insect, flat pizza head. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is, but it looks great.
But the art is really cool. So the one I think I picked was Altered, right?
Yep.
I believe so, yes.
So we each picked one of these births or races that we wanted to talk about, and I want to talk about the Altered, which, despite what comic books claim, radiation is not known to create functional mutations that would benefit an affected creature. And even if it could, the subsequent DNA damage would probably kill that same creature in a matter of days. But there are certain chemicals, viruses, or procedures that could potentially result in a functional mutation.
This is beautiful.
I love it because
It's so beautiful.
every comic book says you get powers from radiation.
Oh,
this
yeah.
one just turns around and says, no, you don't.
No, you're gonna die. Sorry, bud.
You might end up with like an extra finger or something weird like that, or you're gonna die.
If you're lucky.
You're gonna get a not functional third eye on your forehead. It's actually just like cancer.
Actually, if you're lucky, you just get a harmless mutation where nothing happens.
Yeah,
If you're lucky.
well, according to this, that doesn't happen very often.
Apparently, yeah, not in this world.
So, I don't want to get too much into the basic mechanics of the
Right,
features. What?
Tater,
Three-eyed fish? Yeah, from like, that was in
Simpsons.
Simpsons, right?
Nuclear
So...
power plant runoff.
Yeah. So, glowing too, didn't it?
Yeah.
So for the altered traits, they give you a couple different things. You got the walk speed. You look pretty much human, except for some stuff. It actually says, like humans, altered are very widely in height and build, but your size is medium. I don't want to get into that. What I want to talk about is the mutations.
Right, the fun stuff.
Yeah, so there are no altered subraces. Instead, what follows is specific modifications that you can kind of select up to 2 and mix them and match them.
Which I think is on the left, right? Yeah.
Right. No, that's a different thing over here.
Oh, is it? Oh, never mind. Oh, it's down there. I see it. Never mind.
So you do get the two pick up to 2 different modifications. You may also select a single drawback, which allows you to select a third mutation.
That's awesome.
Right?
Like
so they affect you in all sort of different ways. I want to talk about a few. All hands. Your tier 1, your feet are articulate.
Like a monkey.
Like a monkey's, right?
Oh my goodness.
Your speed is reduced by 5. You are ambidextrous.
I'm
omnidextrous.
You can
Oh
do
my
anything
gosh.
with anything, with any hand.
I can be Rono. What the hell is the guy?
Rona Zorro.
Yeah, that guy.
Zolo, I guess, if you want to be English about it, but
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
was
now
a-
I can hold swords in my feet and hand and just cartwheel and chop people up like a Ginsu blade.
You could.
That's
Literally.
really cool.
I did like Zillow better than Zorro, so.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
So these actually come in different tiers. So at tier 2, you have advantage with all grapple checks, both attempting and escaping.
Makes sense.
Who loves grapplers?
Yeah,
This guy. Or you can take a feat. You can make. I actually think you get this automatically. You get a feat.
Yeah.
If you can make more than one melee attack with an action, you can make one additional attack with disadvantage as part of the same. So once again, this comes into me doing the cartwheeling with blades in my feet and on my tail and shit.
That's smart.
And you get some other stuff. You get extra arms. You can get a big nose, which gives you advantage on perception checks.
That rely on smell. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine just having a nose like that big?
Right.
It's just most of your face.
I think this is kind of what Ian was trying to go for with your druid, right?
Eat people?
Ish.
Okay. So some of the other things, you get the carapace that increases armor. You can get chompers. Oh, I see. So the tiers are basically as you hit certain levels, right?
Yeah.
Tier 1 is up to 5, and then tier 2. Okay, I got it.
Maybe.
I don't know the exact numbers, but I think that's what it is. So for chompers, your jaw is slightly elongated, and your teeth.
What big teeth?
What big teeth you have. Your bite is a natural melee weapon.
That's hilarious.
But this comes with a deformity, which basically means you possess a visible deformity that makes hiding from authorities and bigots difficult. Where'd it go, big chompers that way?
It's pretty hard to miss.
What did you guys think about this birth or / race?
That's really interesting.
It gives a lot of versatility.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do some really, again, more wonky builds that you could
and
just do.
I think it's great with the drawbacks. And there is quite the collection here. I mean, there's
just
got to
keeps
be like
going.
20. There's
Oh
the
my
animus.
goodness. You could be a mute. Does that help at all? I don't actually know. Mute. It's just a drawback.
You barely
huh?
speak. To the satisfaction of all other characters, you cannot say more than 30 words per day. I would be boned.
Oh, man.
Not quite the same, but I'm now thinking about that Planet Target from Black Clover, which everybody ignores.
Yes.
You know,
It's a good anime.
It's really sad to me. It says something that's actually important, but nobody notices.
Right. Yeah, we are
Poor
a little
Gordon.
close to each other. Thank you for worrying about us. Don't cough on me. Anyway, so I really like this. I thought it was fun. There's so many options. It reminds me of the Simic from Ravnica, but has so many more options.
Yes.
Was there anything about this you specifically thought was interesting?
I'm
Any
just
of
looking at the
features?
wicked tongue right now. It sounds wild.
You have a prehensile tongue. Very much a Venom thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It can't hold weapons, but it does count as a free hand for grab attempts and retrieving objects.
So
Does that
can you
mean
get-
you can grapple with your tongue?
Yep.
That's so gross.
You can call me Toad.
What if they like... What if they were like slime or something? You probably... I don't even think in character, if they were like a slime ball creature and I wanted
Be
to
like,
grapple,
nope.
I'd be like, nah.
That tastes funny.
I'll give myself disadvantage because I might throw up. I'll just do
Right,
that for
right.
you.
Yeah, I think so. This was my choice of the births. Ian, what was yours?
Well, I almost went with the automaton, but instead I went with the animist.
Okay, and what exactly is the animist?
Your genetic makeup has been modified in such a way as to induce rapid hyper-evolution. This was definitely not natural, or even paranatural mutations, but more like a deliberate genetic manipulation through either nanotech, drugs, or a virus.
Drugs.
You've gained intelligence, you developed language, your body has altered to stand upright and hold tools. Where you were once a regular wild animal, you are now a humanoid person.
What?
Oh man, that's cool. That is really cool.
You can be one of a kind, sired by a family of lake creatures, or a member of a race that has grown to establish a civilization.
What if you have nightmares of when you were just a dog peeing on stuff and chewing on bones and digging them up, and you're terrified one day you'll end up back at that?
You can become a member of a race that has grown to establish a civilization. Could you imagine the plot hook to that?
Yep.
Oh yes, I was once a dog, but now I have a bunch of dog people just like me. And we're gonna take over the world.
Now, one thing you get for sure is you get like natural melee weapons from your original animal qualities, but that's not counting the sub races. And there are a crap ton of sub races, and that's why I picked this.
So yeah. So is there a particular one that you?
Yeah, particular
Oh,
subrace?
dude, your natural melee weapon changes based on your size.
Well, why would you never be large then? You always be large. Be big. Be hulking. Be scary.
Because you can be a bat.
Oh
Batman.
shit! You know I didn't
That's
think
way
about
cooler.
that. Yeah.
You can literally be
People like-
the Batman.
And then you can
literally.
they're like, hey, what is that?
I mean, you have a 5 speed, you have echolocation, and you have adventures on hearing perception checks.
Wow.
That's a great stalker or reconnaissance drone.
Yep.
I like that.
Infiltrator. You can do that.
Where's
That'd be
that?
great.
Yeah, definitely.
Although,
Which is what I chose.
I can picture some people just picking a badger. Just
Or a bear.
What does that do? Like,
A badger.
your nocturnal physiology gives you dark vision. You have keen
Heck
smell
yeah.
and stinker. You have stinker
you're a skunk.
like a skunk. As a minor action, I assume that means bonus action.
Yeah.
I would assume, but
you can produce an unpleasant smell through your glands. Which glands?
It says
Oh,
it.
your butt.
Oh my god. All creatures able to smell you in a 10-foot radius centered on you suffer disadvantage to all attacks. That is awesome.
Once per day.
Oh, that is still pretty cool.
That
You can
is.
only squirt once per day, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
That's awesome.
that is ridiculous.
Like, can you just, you can't find a seat in a tavern. Be like, well, I know what I gotta do.
Hey guys, watch this shit.
You gotta blow
What
it
do you
up.
mean shit?
Yeah, squirt.
You're just like,
But yeah, some other options just to speed through this are like bear, frog, goat, crocodile,
goat.
horse, shark,
Could you imagine being a crocodile?
Crocodile, like the lizard from Spider-Man.
Yep. Hawk,
I'm gonna.
tiger, rabbit.
So you're still, but this doesn't change your size.
No, so you could be a large hawk.
Dude, you guys ever play Bloody Roar?
No.
No,
The people could
I
turn
know
into
of it,
like
though,
beast
but-
forms of like animals.
Is
That's
this, like-
totally what that reminds me of.
Is this like perma-free druid?
it's your race, man.
It's your race, so yeah, depending on which one you pick, you're permanently a hawk, so you get flight. Though that flight is crazy.
50 feet. What?
Yeah,
Ground speed 20.
that is not nearly enough of a penalty for that.
What? 50 flight speed?
You be a shark, dude. What's the old cartoon with the shark guys?
Street Sharks.
Street Sharks. Yeah, that's what I would want to do. That's awesome. So that's really cool. You get lots of. There's so many options here.
I know. That's why I picked it.
It definitely gives you versatility within the single berth.
Wow.
So
all right.
very cool. Which one did you pick, Austin?
I chose
Great choice.
the Yokai, which is at the very,
Yokai,
very
of
end.
course it is.
Because it's a Y. But it's not nearly as interesting as the two you guys chose, apparently. Oh my goodness.
The yokai. What can you tell us about the yokai?
So the yokai is not a scientific phenomenon. There's no gene splicing or engineering or apparently drugs involved. A yokai is a mystical creature based on mostly inaccurate human mythology. They are creatures of magic bound to a specific set of arbitrary and random rules, which I thought was hilarious. And pretty much why I drew it.
They do whatever.
Which they know to be called as a convention, a collection of commandments each of them must follow, which define their very existence.
Is that kind of like an oath?
Kind of, yeah. Except usually they're awful and they suck. These rules are random, from dietary habits to how a yokai relates to outsiders. No two are alike. They only share one common quality: the ability to shift into an animal. So you kind of literally just get to be like, I'm a fox, but also I'm a person, and they're both considered natural forms to the person.
Like, does your
like-
clothes change with you?
I guess.
Like,
I
because a
would hope
druid
so.
specifically says your clothes and gear can meld with you or drop to the ground. I wonder.
I don't know if it said anything about it, but I don't remember anyway. But it
Going
does
all
say,
natural.
I guess so. But if a legend described an absolute law regarding said beast, it actually only pertained to one specific creature. There are always exceptions. In the old ages when machinery was scarce, yokai numbered 1 million. Wow, that's a lot. Their numbers diminished over time, leaving only a few left, mostly forgotten, the ones folklore never spoke of.
Ooh, the bad ones.
Um,
So what are some of their cool traits that made this interesting to you?
This isn't something that you wouldn't immediately think as cool, but to me it's really cool, and it's the fact that you are immortal and you don't age.
That is cool.
I was like, that is so like you are literally just this magical being. Why not?
Dude, that
Like,
would be cool.
Right? So like if anything, like I don't know if anything there's like a spell or anything that causes people to like rapidly decay or age, but you won't.
You'd be like, F you!
You just look at yourself like, and so I thought that was cool. I don't know.
That is really cool. I like that. So, because in the traditional fantasy, your druid gets that at level 20? They get, like, immortality, or they never age, or whatever?
I think that's the monk, right?
Well, the monk does, too, I think. I thought the druid had an ability that makes them live forever.
Not forever. It just slows down their aging process.
I know paladins get something as well. It's one of their oaths.
So I think you could have a lot of fun with this. So
Yeah.
there was a game I played. It was a Squaresoft game where the immortals, they would like lose their memory or something.
Ooh.
And so you would find out like, God, it's been so long. These major events in history, they were there and they were like important people. But one person was like 5 different people, right? In war, these are all different people, but it turns out it's like
It's
the
just the
same
person,
person and the same group of people.
That's
that are
also
involved.
something that I really liked with that. You can really get creative with your like your backstory.
Right.
Or you could be a new immortal. Like you're just like maybe you find another yokai and they're like, "Oh, how long have you been alive for?" "Oh, I'm only like 21." They're like, "How old are you?" It's like,
I totally think it would have cool to have like a Highlander thing going on.
"Oh, that'd be awesome."
Because don't they? The reason they do that is to extend their life, their immortality. Why do they try to kill each other?
I think generally just to be like the most
It's a
powerful.
mandate.
Oh, they gotta hunt each other.
Yep.
Hey, we're immortals. Let's go kill each other.
Yeah, why not?
Leave off their heads.
So there is like the rules up there where it says convention that they
Okay.
talked about in the thing. Generally, you get 1 to 3 rules. The only pattern is that the sweeter the soul, the more constricting the convention. Convention laws vary between the mundane and the magical. Roll between 1 and 3 times on the table below. There's like a little table.
So this is basically a druid. Because I can see now you get to pick one beast to CR 1 or less. So this is their form of the druid,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. And there's a table here for conventions. You spark any flammable substance within 5 feet of you. What the hell?
That's dope.
Just random shit happens around you? That is so cool. Like
Numbers-
a druid sorcerer, wild sorcerer.
Number 6 was you just collect shiny rocks. You just find one, you're like, oh yes, it's mine.
You can only eat raisins. You hate grapes.
You can only recover hit dice when touching natural soil. Interesting.
Oh,
see, like
that's
there's
cool. I
some
can
like
see,
tough ones in
you
there.
put your fingers in the soil, and these little tendrils like shoot out like vines and start sucking up the earth.
You always
That's cool.
whisper.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, we always whisper.
Great for an infiltrator.
That's true.
Maybe not for anything else, but you're great there.
So yeah, some good stuff there. The next thing I want to talk about is the life events. I don't want to spend too much time getting into this, but basically it's your background. Your life up until this moment cannot be, summarized in a single sentence. I definitely think that's a traditional jab at the backgrounds in 5e because they're really short.
They are very short. You kind of have to do a lot on your own for it.
So to encourage unique development, backgrounds in UltraModern are presented thinly, offering little content outside of one's primary origin, which is then used as a springboard for whatever path you decide to take, which is still pretty dope. Now let's get on to the classes.
The fun part.
Yeah, we spent a lot on the races, but it's intriguing.
Yeah,
We're not covering all of them, so we got to go into a little bit of depth. So.
Right.
So where's my thing here? I got.
Justin chose the obvious one.
Oh, I did. It's just
for
so
him.
obvious.
Obvious for him.
I could have picked the laborer.
Yeah, but that's too real. We're not here to be real. We're here to be what we want.
So I do gotta admit, going back to the background thing and the life events, there's like an entire giant table of tragedies.
Yes.
For your characters, which I think is great.
If you're a yokai, just say you did all of them. That's how long you lived. You've lived for so long. You've experienced every single tragedy on the board. Be like, and then you can just be like, oh yes, I remember that. That was awful.
Did I pass it?
My whole family burned down, but that was my last family. Now I have a new family.
That's funny.
I've been adopted twice, 4 times.
4 times.
5 times? Maybe it was 7. I forget.
Oh jeez. Yeah. So
it all starts to meld together when all the dads.
I think I skipped ladders, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
We'll go to classes.
No, we touched on it.
58. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did touch on it a little bit. Yeah.
58. There we go. So, for the classes, UltraModern's classes are cut from a different mold than you would expect in like a traditional fantasy one, especially the more dungeon crawly one. It's crucial to have each character contribute to the acquisition of treasure and survival as a whole. There can be no fat, leaving a lean fantasy party only permitting specific classes within their ranks. That's interesting. That's a shot at needing a tank, needing a healer, right?
Right.
Which, fantastic. Don't need that shit.
Yep.
I'm going to skip by the civilian.
Just because we're going to touch on it later anyway, so we may as well. We may as well skip it for now.
So, the class that I picked was the Face. This is very much a bard-style character.
For sure.
You are all talk. Thankfully, your strengths depend on that. Some call you empathic, while others claim you just possess good instincts. Okay. I feel it out, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know when the time is right. You may have cut your teeth as a psychologist or confident artist. You can spot a liar by the puckering of their lips or their lazy eyes. You sense the heat of attraction and the searing loathing of those obsessed with violence. Your words have been known to disarm, soothe, and enrage. This is very much a bard, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's why it's so interesting to me, because I like the smooth talker, I like the negotiator, I like the haggler. When a gun is pointed at your face, when dangling off a cliff, your first response is, "Can't we just discuss this?
Can't we just talk?
Let's just talk about it."
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different features that come with this. I kind of want to talk about. We'll pick probably just 1 or 2 of each of them that really we think is interesting. At level 1, you get bulletproof ego, which basically says at first level, as long as you're wearing light armor, no armor, you get a bonus of AC equal to your proficiency bonus.
That's so funny.
So you're just there.
You're just too badass.
Yeah,
you're just like
Jason Statham.
Right.
That's what I got. Like, nobody's just going to pull a gun on Jason Statham, right?
No.
But what's interesting here is they've got this thing called life insurance. You're not expecting to be in a fight. So, it's best to use your resources more constructively. Starting at first level, instead of using your hit die to recover your hit points during a rest, you can expend them to gain an edge when required. Spending a hit die on your turn, regain no hit points, and you can do one of the following benefits without no action. You can automatically pass a special check for double your efforts, which is a skill. We'll talk about in a second. You have advantage on all attack rolls, ability checks, and skill checks until the beginning of your next turn.
That's so good.
And any charisma saving throws you force a target to make before the end of your next turn gains a +5 bonus to the DC. Woo. That is a really awesome use of hit die. Like,
It just supercharges you.
yeah, if your goal is to not get into combat,
Yep.
Yeah, this is
you don't
definitely
mind giving up your
for sure.
hit die, right? Because you're not planning on getting stabbed. You hope not, right?
That's the idea, yeah. I mean, maybe they have like cyber ninjas on the ceiling and they're kind of looking at him like, is this the guy? Yeah, this is the guy. All right, we're going to get him. Just don't listen to him. Plug your ears.
Can we just say how interesting or how funny some of the names of these features are?
Yeah, like Bulletproof Ego. I love that. That's great.
So so those are the types of things that you can get with the face, and that really is just something that's super interesting. There are different archetypes. I think that's a whole nother section, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll talk about that later. So what do you guys think about the face before we move on to
Super. I love it. Like, honestly, like I love the whole. I'm never gonna get over Bulletproof Ego. You're just like,
I got this.
you're like, guys, it's fine.
It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna miss me. And like the bullet whiffs right past you, and you're like, see, oh, almost had me there.
Jason Statham brought a car to a gunfight.
That actually reminds me of my Saturday game where one of the players at one point played a bard, and we were level 1. He walked up to the group. I got this, guys. I'm invincible. And every enemy attacked him and missed because the DM rolled crap. And then he pulled off his glove, walked up to the enemy leader, hit him with the glove, critted, and killed the leader.
With a glove. Was it like a steel gauntlet in like Princess Bride?
No, it's just a
rubber.
It's just a leather glove.
I wonder what kind of rubber he's using.
And I was like, what just happened? For obvious reasons.
What
that's
is?
funny.
Yeah, in and out of character. What just happened?
All right, so Ian, which class did you pick?
Well, there's definitely a few that I was looking at, being like martial artist, sniper, medic, techie, but I ended up going with the Gunslinger. And I cannot stress enough, unfortunately, the description does not do the class justice.
No, not at all.
No. Here's the description. On the battlefield, you specialize in infiltrating enemy lines before sowing confusion in their ranks, dancing about the field, dealing out and disrupting opponent formations. Unlike other classes like grounders and heavies, you are mobile and agile. It would be likely that you would wield a pistol with a full-functioning rifle on your back. You walk light, often near the front lines, or starting far ahead of a unit. You're not required to carry a shovel or pun explosives. Your purpose is singular, if not slightly selfish. Now, from that description, what would you expect from this class?
Like almost like an assassin,
Or a
almost.
scout, yeah.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. A Splinter Cell almost. Like you're going in light armored, or like a Solid Snake. You're super light armored. You're going in behind enemy lines, and you're just gonna cause a little bit of havoc, and you're gonna dip right back out. You know what I mean? Like that's what it sounds like. Now, from what I remember reading this, it is not even close to that.
No, you know Gunfu.
Yeah,
You know Kung Fu.
it's literally like almost John Wick, right?
Arranged monk, basically, right?
Pretty much.
Now, if you guys watched, you see those animes where the people fight with the guns in melee range, and they're like bang, 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 and they're pushing them off. That's kind of what I envisioned with this.
They even reference the Christian Bale movie Equilibrium multiple times, which is basically what he does.
He does, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm down for it. It's just like not what you.
Actually, one of the features is called Equilibrium if you choose it.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this first feature you get at level 1. It's literally called cinematic style, because you can't be popping people with guns in Would you call it gun fu without
Yeah,
style?
gun fu, yeah.
What does that do?
Well, you can either basically choose 2 weapons, dual wield some 2 small arms to get some more actions, or you can just choose 1 weapon and 1 pistol, but you get a lot of bonus damage in the process.
So it kind of
Because
offsets
your aim's
it.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love
Alright.
that. Now, I didn't realize it was literally called gun fu.
Yeah,
I thought
it's
you
literally
made that up.
called
No.
gun fu.
I thought you
I
made it
remember.
up.
I love how you get it at 5th level, and you also get it at 13th level, and you get it at 17th level because it improves.
Which was the fancy way they say for you get multi-attack, but
Yeah.
but the big thing you pull from though is the katas, which effectively act like the key pull for the monk.
Ah, right.
Okay.
And
Oh, look at that art piece. That person is falling
cool.
upside down from a skyscraper with some big ass hand cannons in each hand.
Oh yeah, those are those are not regular revolvers. Those are missile revolvers. Like holy shit.
and each one does have different costs. Just-
Okay.
And something I kind of like too is a few of them to say if you screw it up this bad, here's the threshold. You're not spending that.
That's cool.
Okay.
So can you give us an example of maybe one or two of the katas that you really thought were cool?
Well, the one I have to mention, because I did already, is Equilibrium. Kata costs 1. Spend 1 kata as part of a reaction. When an enemy misses you with a range attack, you make a range attack back. If you score a critical hit with an attack, you recover 1 kata.
Oh, that is cool.
So like if you John Wick the guy, you get
Yeah.
to John Wick another guy later. That's great.
That's dope.
I love it because there's no way he's making those shots with that pistol when they're like 3rd floor. He's on 1st floor going headshot.
I'm instantly thinking of. Do you guys ever see?
I love it.
What was the one with the bending bullets?
Oh.
Wanted.
Oh, it wanted, yeah. Where they're like curve the bullet by curving their gun.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of reminded of.
Oh, that'd be funny.
So that's pretty cool.
Just 1 bullet. Before an
Not
attack,
just one bullet.
spend an attack action to add your wisdom modifier to all damage rolls to the end of your turn.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
That is cool.
And if it makes it a crit, you gain 1.
Right?
Again, I like that. I like how you can use these and like if you got that random chance where you got really well with it, you just regain the point back.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's very cool.
And just because it's expensive, weak spot. Spend 4 kata points after hitting a target, and as part of the same action, you can deal a damage bonus to every subsequent hit on that target equal to your wisdom modifier until the target is killed.
Damn. Get wrecked.
Huh.
Very cool.
You gain
That's a
damage
good
bonus to
You're
every
right.
subsequent hit. Wow.
Sorry, did I you were reading that? Yeah, no,
That
that's
adds up.
I was like, am I really reading that and hearing that correctly? And I am.
especially after you get multi-attack and stuff, right?
Oh.
And as we have seen, you can even add more on top of that with some of these abilities.
Right. All right. I think that'll do it for the Gunslinger. Austin, what did you pick?
I chose the Infiltrator, which was basically the assassin,
hell?
honestly.
I like that
It's
spell, Infiltrator.
without the whole social aspect. There's no putting on, a suit and walking in and, the best camouflage is being completely normal. No, there's none of that. You stab the guy.
That's funny.
Which is my favorite part. So it says in the beginning, you go where no one else can, deep behind enemy lines, avoiding eyes, ears, and sensors. You're an intelligence operative with specialties in counter-terrorism, espionage, and assassination, which is why when I saw the word assassination, I was like, yes, I'm in. All right. Your strengths lie in your ability to avoid either capture or the crosshairs of enemy weapons. After making a killing blow, you're able to break off and vanish into the shadows. Even your kills can go without notice. You don't consider yourself a thief. You're an elite operative, often working alone well ahead of allies and their noisy footfalls. Your expertise is vital as you relay essential information back to your superiors and dispatch dangerous foes before they get the opportunity to be a threat.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, you're just going in, you're like, hold on, guys. I'm going to make sure the front door is clear. And like, what do you mean? All right, guys, front door is clear. What happened? Oh, nothing. And then they walk in, there's like 3 bodies. And you're like, what did you do? And you're just like, the door's clear.
What does it matter?
Now I'm thinking about Equilibrium when he jumped to a dark room.
Yep.
Full of enemies.
So what are some of the cool features that you really like about this that stand out?
So immediately you get procedural memory, and I know it's like a big old thing, but it's
You can summarize. You don't gotta
yeah.
go through
It allows you pretty much to be like, if you have like high wisdom, you can kind of just like re-roll your d20.
what?
On skill checks.
Yeah, on skill checks
You
specifically.
can just keep trying.
Yeah, because you're so it's kind of like unreliable talent, except a weaker version of it, depending on
Okay.
your wisdom mod. So if you have, let's say, your wisdom modifier was, let's say, actually it was 0, but you have, your proficiency bonus,
Right.
it's 2.
Now, you do have limited uses per day, mind you.
Yeah, it is limited per day. It's so
Based
I
on
can use it
your-
2 times
yeah.
because it's
Wisdom
only
modifier.
yeah.
Okay.
And proficiency bonus.
In response to a single barrel roll until you accept the result or run out of uses.
Like, nope.
All right, I'm
Nope.
all right. I guess
Nope.
I guess a 10 will do.
That's good enough.
When you use it, that roll, whether it be a skill check, ability check, or saving throw, or attack rolls, is also counted as, or is it? Wait, it is counted as having it.
Yeah, you cannot use it when you have disadvantage. though.
Okay.
Well,
so-
you can just once.
If you
No, it
already
says you
have
cannot
advantage,
use
you still
procedural
only get to
memory if you have
roll
disadvantage.
Oh, wait.
It's if you reroll. If you have advantage, you can
advantage,
only
you
use it
only get one
once.
roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
it stops you from piling on these bonuses. So that's pretty cool.
Is it intended target that does this stupid thing?
Look at this.
Yeah.
The name of the ability is Elite. like that's the gamer.
Yeah,
thing,
you
right?
sit in the basement and you game all day, which is this guy.
So what does that do?
Starting level 1, so remember, you just choose the class and you're good to go. Anytime you have advantage on the attack roll, the target of your attack has disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the beginning of your next turn.
Oh, that's nice.
So
That's
if it's
great.
just you and him, you're just...
one-on-one, mano e gunno.
Yeah. I love intended target, though, because the first line says, starting at the first level, you can dispatch enemies with extreme prejudice.
The best kind.
The best kind.
Oh, that is great.
So once per turn, if you have an attack with advantage, you just turn it into a crit. But you have to be within 20 feet. So you're probably not going to use firearms with this class, but if you got a knife, you're going to hurt that guy.
That is awesome.
That's why
Sticker.
I love this stuff. Like you just get to stab a guy and it's great.
See, now this is the thing that really tickles my dice.
Oh, all this stuff down here.
Yeah,
skills.
you have solid skills, bro.
This is all still first level, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Just want to say this is
a
all.
whole 1 page of features for level 1.
You get 4 things at level 1. That is ridiculous, but I
you get-
love it.
But they're fun things.
Yeah,
Why,
so
they're
you
all
get
fun,
these solid skills, almost like solid snakes, right? That enable you to accomplish your mission more successfully. Is there any one of these that you really, really like?
I think it was. Let me see if I can remember.
That's cool. Reflex Dash is pretty cool. If an enemy scores a hit on you, you gain a plus 10
so you
foot
can, like-
bonus to your speed.
Yeah, you can just hop right out and
Yep.
get real distance. It's almost like the mobile feat, where you get that extra move speed. You can move faster than the other guy, so you can just
You
get
can
out of
outrun 'em,
range.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, in this there's guns, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get around a corner. Oh, it was this one. Following patterns. You reduce the passive perception of all enemies you encounter by 2. So
cool.
you're just better at stealth. Not because you're great at hiding, but because you're following them with your eyes, and you're like, oh yeah, so he's gonna walk this way.
But is it just for you?
No, you reduce their passive perception of all enemies you encounter by 2.
How do you envision that working?
I think how it is, like if
Like Solid Snake knocking?
I
No.
think it's more like
It's in the name. Following patterns.
yeah. So like if like the guy's always doing like this,
But how does that affect everyone else?
you kind
You
of tell
pass
them,
it
I
on.
guess. Yeah, you
Yeah, okay.
pass on the information.
Like doing one of these things?
He's got to turn
Kinda,
left.
yeah.
He's got to turn left. Go.
maybe, yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Just
Very
like-
cool. I think these are all really great. Once
That was
again-
all level 1. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous. But
Yeah.
eventually, I don't remember if it was in Cleaner or this one, but you get to just really hurt a guy. I think it was in Cleaner.
We might not actually make it to that because we
Yeah.
are spending a lot of time on these.
Yep. We don't want to speed things up.
So yeah. So like I said, there's a lot. We haven't even got into like all the archetypes and everything.
Yeah,
we'll touch briefly on our archetypes. I think.
Actually, you did. Actually, you both did pick the same archetype.
Yeah,
so.
we did choose the same archetype. We both chose
Well,
Cleaner.
that saves a little bit of time then. doesn't
Yeah.
it? Same as Justin.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know.
You're like, that was too good.
So once again, your archetypes aren't really tied to your class, so you can pick
Kind of mix and match.
whatever you want. So because I picked the face, I also chose to pick the cleaner.
Which is the exact opposite of the face.
Yeah, which is the exact opposite of the face. It's the backup plan of the face.
Yes. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a plan B, right?
Which for the infiltrator, this is primary goal for the infiltrator. You can just be like,
The search function in this PDF isn't very good. It doesn't pick up the stuff in the titles.
yeah,
So I don't know.
Well,
why.
that's because the titles are actually graphics, not
yeah, it's because they're
That explains it.
not text.
I get it now.
Let's
We
see
just
here.
gotta find it here.
Cleaner.
Cleaner, page 101.
Okay. Because I remember trying to do that too.
Right, yeah. So, what exactly is a down one? Cleaner.
Right there. Yep.
So, a cleaner is someone hands you an image, an address, or just a name. You move in quickly and quietly, eliminating defenses that lay in your path. You dispatch the enemy efficiently and vanish into the shadows, leaving onlookers wondering who ordered the hit and why. You are a silent, cold, calculating assassin. Your skills involve intimate kills, forcing you to be close to your enemy. You rise from nowhere and you eliminate opponents before others can even notice or respond. Pistols, even when they're quiet, still make noise that you would prefer to avoid.
Which is why the infiltrator loves this.
So I know why you picked this. Well,
Right.
Why don't you tell us why you picked it for Infiltrator?
Well, I think it's obvious if you just scroll down just a little bit because that's not part of it.
Oh,
So, I think it is what really got it crazy is quick succession. So, when you use once in the head but fail to kill the target, which is just you getting to do multiple attacks on the guy, you make one additional identical attack. This attack automatically hits.
Oh, nice.
And you inflict additional damage equal to 3 times your level, including the additional damage with once in the head. Once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you take a longer
Oh,
rest.
that's a
Basically,
one and done.
you absolutely shred the guy that's in front of you. Like this guy no longer exists. He is probably dead. Like the.
So
And just so we're clear, I would pick this as Justin haven't picked it.
Yeah, like it's
we basically all agree this would be fun.
like there's no way anyone would ever come out of this. Like you are literally tailored to absolutely massacre that one person.
Well, you're basically.
And if there's 3 of us doing this, that means we can massacre 3 people at once before we even get even further out.
Dude, we're the cleaners. We totally could call our crew the vacuum.
Oh my god.
The cleanup crew.
The cleanup crew.
No, the vacuum.
Uh,
Oh, the Kirby's. Because we don't leave shit anywhere.
The Hoovers.
The Hoovers? That's even better.
Shopbacks.
Love it. Anyways,
There's options.
this would be fun to play with just like a whole bunch of cleaners. We just all go in, hyper assassin.
so let me tell you why I picked this.
I
Because
wanna know
I
why you
absolutely
chose it, yeah.
love the idea of a character who, on the face of everyone, is a person who avoids combat. But when he goes home at night, the gloves come off.
He's cleaning
The
his gun.
personality changes. And he is all business. During the day, he's all fun. During night, all pleasure. Wait, those are the same thing?
Yeah.
Huh, that's weird. Anyways, I thought it would just be
guess.
awesome to have this guy that pretends to hate fighting and does everything he can to avoid it, and then at night is just like, bam, bitch, you're dead.
Yeah, he just
Like all these.
wreck that guy.
What if the guy in the group is the guy you guys are chasing? There's some hitman out killing people,
But it's actually
and
just
it's actually one of the players. Like,
Oh
that
my God.
That's when I read this, I was like, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It sounds so awesome and so much fun.
You could do so much fun plot stuff
Yeah.
with these like character concepts, honestly.
Definitely. All right.
And you
I do want to remind just because
It does say the face is a synergy build for this. Hoorah! I didn't know that before.
No, that's for the country gunman.
Oh. Never mind.
Uh,
Anyways,
I mean, it might. I don't know.
which one did you pick there, Ian?
Okay, I don't know why, but the one I did pick was for some strange reason not in the glossary, but
Yeah,
And
you
the-
mentioned that.
I
What's it
do,
called?
Yeah.
it's called the Mecha Pilot.
The Mecha Pilot. Why don't you tell us about the
Oh,
Mecha
God.
Pilot?
Now, I only want to push for it because we're going to cover mech combat here.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe go back down. Sorry.
I lost my place. Dang it.
Did we pass?
Alarms.
There's no way we passed it, right?
Little tourists.
Pathfinder. I think we did pass it.
It's right there.
Oh, it's right there. That's
page 111.
weirdly out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Because P is right there.
There we go. It comes natural to some, but it may take practice for others. It's the whisper. You never truly feel in control until you start operating and start becoming one with the mech. When you enter the machine, you become the machine. It's a living, breathing organism. You have to listen to it because it's talking, telling you how to move, where to be. Stop fighting the machine and become the machine. All you got to do is start listening. Eventually, you won't look with your eyes or listen with your ears. You won't feel your hands grabbing the controls or your legs pushing levers, because you have become one with the machine.
I love it.
Does he have an organoid?
No.
Oh. Because that's how you become one with the machine, don't you know that? You ever watch Zoids?
Not in a very, very, very long time. I don't remember anything from it anymore.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
Damn it.
organoids. Anyways, so very cool.
So addresses with all classes. You gain proficiency with all mechs.
Huh.
That's the reason right there, in my opinion.
Right.
You can just choose it and and it works.
Now, do you know what I really liked about the mechs?
What?
In order to balance these powerful robots, they take multiple attunement slots to use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 'cause
Okay.
you can only have like 3 attunements in 5e. So I think a mech is 3. So there's no other like magic items that you can have equipped that require attunement.
Okay.
That's a very interesting way to balance it. So what are some cool features in this that you really get? Obviously, the proficiency in all mechs is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, when you calculate your control ability, which is your average of your pilot ability score and the mech's physical ability score, your own score is 2 higher. Now, if your mech uses an 822 strength for a melee attack, but you have an 18 intelligence, your intelligence is treated as 20.
Oh.
Okay.
For a control ability of 21. And the selection
Oh, right here.
Yep.
and a few other things too is at 11th level, hearing the whisper, if you suffer a special hit location result, you can force the target to not roll and set the value to whatever you want. Oh, you hit me in the arm! No, you hit me in the leg. Deal with it.
Wow.
Is that like a variation of Divination Wizard? That's kind of what that reminds me of. That's really cool. I love that.
And for instinctual reactions at level 15, as a reaction, you can adjust the roll result for hit location on your mecha by up to 2.
Which is good, because when your shit starts to take damage and break apart, you want to be able to redirect that stuff and cover your weakness. That is really cool mechanic. I love this. This is like a Deva build, right? You guys play Overwatch?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty much Deva, right? Yeah.
Diva, yeah.
What is it, Diva? Sorry.
Yep.
So she gets the gun, she climbs down her mech. That's basically what's happened. Which I think there's actually a very specific archetype that goes with that of some sort. So this is really cool. I like this because the character themselves isn't very strong, right?
No.
There's a few things they can do. They can kind of support themselves, but really all their power comes from using equipment.
Now a couple other archetypes that I want to give a shout to briefly is the Gun Dancer and the Anti-Hero. Gun Dancer, you get more attacks with your pistols.
The anti-hero says that it's got the feature Deadpool, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Everything it's got is Deadpool.
It also
including-
literally cheats.
Yeah, and it's got Breaker of the Fourth Wall. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of things in this that's very much on par with the pop culture references, which just make it fantastic.
The martial arts has a Falcon Punch ability option for God's sakes.
That's awesome.
If you wanted to as well, you could even be like a Tokyo Drifter from like Initial D, like the anime. Like you want to just like
Fast and Furious.
it's just like there's so much you can do. Like there really is just a lot of pop culture reference in here. It's kind of fun.
I love the idea of being a hero who drives around and just like outruns everyone. Isn't that what Jason Statham does too?
Yep.
In a lot of his movies, yeah.
I'm gonna be Jason Statham. Just call him Statham. So overall, everything's really. This is just got everything. It's got 400 pages. We couldn't possibly cover it all.
Yeah.
Originally, I was planning on doing a multiple episode series. I decided against that because I want to cover our next week's topic, which is going to be Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, or Wildmount, or whatever the hell it is.
Wildmount, yes.
So I changed that up a little bit. There are a lot of details on mechs and how to build them, how to pilot them, the rules with running them in combat and all that stuff. We're not going to get into that.
Like hit locations we firmly established.
Yeah, which is part of your character benefit was choosing where it takes damage. So there's a lot of great details on that, and there's a variety of equipment in sizes and types and all that stuff. So, like I said, we're not going to get into that, but there's some really good stuff in there, and there's just pages and pages and pages of it.
There is.
What I do want to talk about is Ultramax. There is an entire section dedicated to additional rules you could add to your game if you want to make it harder or add more complexity. So, the one that was most interesting to me is a change in the advantage-disadvantage system. Normal rules prevent you from being able to compound multiple features or conditions that grant it. So you can only ever have two. Take the highest, take the lowest. Well, with this Ultramax rule, you there in fact do compound and there is no limit. So you could compound every advantage. So you got like 5 dice and then roll them and take the highest or the lowest if you got disadvantage.
You get disadvantage on like 6 things and you're just like, I'm
so boned.
Right.
It's like, guys, I'm gonna die.
Well, there's a lot of different rules. That was just something that jumped out at me and instantly was something that I thought, oh, I would really like that.
And we didn't even scratch the magic system in this.
Yeah, we didn't even touch the science
yeah,
and magic and stuff. There's so much more into it. That makes it really intriguing. But we are running out of time, so... Is there anything you guys wanted to specifically say before we move on? Something that we didn't cover?
That was it. I'm good.
This just adds so much more material that for both DMs and players, I think it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if you don't use it for all the setting stuff that comes with, pulling magical item ideas or class archetype ideas...
Or even just like, just some of like the actual like... player options or even DM options you can just rip from this and just even like tinker a little bit to you is just so nice and easy.
And what's cool about it is this is a redoing of something that already existed. So the amount of testing and balancing it's got since its original release has been significant. So the stuff fits well, is well played, well tested. Though sometimes some of the features that we picked and we talked about do seem unbalanced. Most of them are one-time use or something like that. So, all right, I think that'll do it for our main topic, UltraModern 5 Redux.
Whew.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that was one of our longer ones.
Yes. We're actually not doing too bad, though.
Well, it's like, you could revisit this later date, too, because this sounds awesome.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. And honestly, I want to cover Neuropasta at some point, too. So, which is very much in line with this sort of thing. In fact, I think Neuropasta was an expansion to the original UltraModern, which focused entirely on futuristic tech and stuff. So.
Nice.
Anyways,
I could become a cyborg ninja. I win.
And actually, I think one thing about this too is if people like the setting for Shadowrun, but don't want to play Shadowrun, and if you ever look at the gameplay rules, I blame them, and especially after trying to build a rigger.
Right.
But want to play it in 5th edition, this might be a good way to supplement that.
Yeah,
this might
definitely.
be like a great alternative. Yeah.
For sure. And it comes with like adventure and stuff at the end of it, so. You can run some of that.
And there's enemies in here too. So.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get into monsters.
Nope, completely went past that. All the NPCs, everything.
A lot of things we did not touch.
Yeah, 400 pages. Can't cover it in a 2-hour show. Anyways, that'll do it for our main topic today. UltraModern 5 Redux. Before we move on to our honor tips and tricks, we have another gift to give away. Ian, what are we giving away today?
Well, we are giving away per usual lately. Encounters in the Savage Seas 2! Yes, that's right. There's a 1.
And a 3. And a 4, I think. I think there's a 4. Maybe only a 3.
Revolutionize your game with this 16 mini-adventure collection, which includes NPCs, location, new creatures, and magical items to add to your nautical adventures.
That's 4
very
things.
Exciting. You want to know what's really... Oh, god damn it, dude. You want to know what's really cool? All day Saturday, I spent the whole day doing the layout for our upcoming underwater adventure, so it's exciting.
Woo!
You can keep an eye out for some posts to be dropping in the next week or so. So, all right, this will be a great addition to that. So, who is our winner today, Austin?
It looks like our winner today is Art Lion Art.
Congratulations, Art Lion Art. If you enjoy the collection of adventures and the product, please leave Jeff Stevens a review. If you didn't win, have no fear. Crit Academy is here. Head on over to critacademy.com/Jeff Stevens to get Encounters on the Savage Seas 3 for free.
Woo!
And if
Free
you pick
stuff.
that up and like it,
Tell them about it too.
what should they do? Yeah,
They should give Jeff Stevens another review about it.
yeah, they should. Damn right.
I did it.
He's like,
He sprung it on me.
That being said, moving on to our Unearthed Tips and Tricks.
And now, what you've all been waiting for. Our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, where we bring
Well,
you
it's not.
new
How does that-
and reusable material for both players and DMs.
That's
See,
funny.
I don't have our headphones on, so I can't actually hear.
Right.
Is it done?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. That's
We did it.
definitely a problem not wearing a headset. All right. So our character concept, the regular Joe. Austin, would you like to tell us about it today?
Why not? I love me some average Joe, regular Joe guys going on. So let's do this. You don't consider yourself special. You don't excel at anything really, and yet you are still a unique and interesting snowflake. The combination of skills and strengths, despite nothing marking you as the best in the world, still distinguishes you. Like, probably us. You don't consider yourself average, but you are aware that you've never been recognized for much in your life. Wow, this is really starting to sound like me.
Right.
You're the one society depends on to be reliable. God. You lack any debilitating psychological traits, but you are also not gifted to outclass those around you. Man! This does not assume you will never achieve anything, only that no one, including you, has any expectation that you will.
Well, this is directly ripped from UltraModern.
Civilian.
Yeah, from the Civilian.
I was cracking up so hard when I read this, and I was
Oh,
like,
man.
"This is me."
That is so painful.
I know. And for the record, the way the civilian class works in the nutshell is you don't really get any huge benefits, but you get extra dice pools that you roll on top of your regular dice rolls to
Yeah.
increase the odds of good stuff happening.
Basically, kind of similar to like the halfling, like the lucky, I think, right?
Yeah.
Something similar.
Essentially. Except you have to specialize in those dice.
So, for an average Joe in a fantasy setting, I think that you could really make this interesting by underplaying yourself and focusing on helping your allies. You're yourself not special, but you could turn to the intelligent person and say, "Did you check that book yet? What about that book? Well, you're looking for history on something, right? What about that book over there?" So instead of actively being exciting yourself, you're doing everything you can to help others. And I think that would go good with like the
So
mastermind
you're the
build.
Ben Stein of the party.
Yes! Bueller.
Alternatively,
Bueller.
you could just be imagine yourself. If you've ever worked customer service, you are the customer. That is the character.
Oh, man.
You are the Karen.
You are.
The Karen. Oh,
You go up to
excuse me.
somebody. I don't think this is right. I'd like to talk to your manager, and they're like, and your DM will probably look at you and go, "Are you serious with me right now? You are serious with me, aren't you?" "Yes, I am. I want to speak to the manager of this place." "You're inside a corporation trying to infiltrate." "Yeah, and I would like to speak to the manager."
Do you know who I am?
This place is a shit
that's
show.
Okay. You're not alone. I just think this is interesting because every time I play D&D, I try to make a character who's outstanding, who is amazing. I think this would be a great concept for a person who decides to roll their stats and rolls poopy. You're just an average Joe who got caught up in some crap, and now you're following some adventurers around who are
Or-
really doing all the work.
Yeah, you got this guy who is like some hyper assassin, some dude who's flying a mech, and then there's you.
Guy
with a book.
You can do it.
So, oh my gosh, this guy's King from One Punch Man.
Yes! Oh my God, yes! If you have not seen that, everyone thinks this guy is just the most powerful hero. He's super strong. He's one of the top ranks. And turns out he's an average Joe, and another guy has been doing all the work. He just happens to wander up when it happens.
Everyone just assumes he has the credit because he has a really cool scar on his face when he got met up with a monster one day, and he's really buff.
But he's not strong at all.
But he's not strong at all. No.
He's
Oh
actually
my
a really
God.
big coward.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's perfect. I'm glad you brought that
He just
up.
walks by every time something exciting happens, everybody says it's him. He's there every time. And he's
it-
like,
Oh my
I'm just a guy.
You could even say like, oh my god, you could even make it where like you get like the thing
he's too-
about King where he gets like that the expedited heartbeat and everyone's like, oh god, he's gonna get serious, everyone run for him, and he's just like, and you as the average Joe is just thinking to yourself, I'm so fucking scared right now, I'm gonna die.
I should have worn my brown pants.
Like, he basically just walks around and intimidates people just by sheer reputation and he's
Yeah.
surrendering.
Yeah,
and not
that's
even
what
on
it is.
purpose.
Yeah, like he doesn't do anything.
This is
So,
totally that. Yeah.
This
And he knows he did not do these things. He's just too afraid to admit it because he's a coward.
and he's got all the money now too, right? Didn't he spend most of his time playing video games with?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
with Saitama.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we got way more run out of that than I thought we would. So, had me cracking up. I love it. The character concept, the regular Joe from UltraModern.
You could definitely do some stuff with that.
Our monster variant of the day or of the episode is the Stormlight Trooper. Now, we didn't mention it, but there's actually an ability called Stormtrooper Shot or Stormtrooper Aim or something.
Yes, there is
Where you
somewhere.
force people to like get disadvantage and they miss. I was cracking up at that for a while. But anyways, so the Stormlight Trooper, the origin stat block you're going to use is the Knight, and here's some of the changes you're going to make. Multi-attack now applies to ranged weapons attack instead of melee, so you're switching them. You're going to swap its dex and its strength. And then you're going to change its greatsword to reinforced gauntlet and damage type to bludgeoning. So basically, you no longer have a powerful melee attack. You have a weak one that matches your weak-ass strength. But your heavy crossbow is now a light blaster. Think laser gun. I did theme this around the UltraModern that we were covering. The damage type is radiant. And it's so basically you're just changing the heavy crossbow's damage from piercing to radiant. And the plate armor is now a military grade biomechanical suit. Think Batman. And then the parry, instead of it being a parry effect, you give it some sort of like self defensive shield effect.
Almost
right?
like a force field.
Yeah,
or
like a
something.
force field, right?
Okay.
So, what does this biomechanical suit laser blaster guy have? He has an explosive tank on his back. When the trooper dies, or if it rolls a 1 when checking whether the Lightbringer action recharges, the tank on its back explodes in a 10-foot radius sphere. Each character in the area must make a dex save or take some radiant damage, or half as much on a successful one. And then, of course, it has the Lightbringer attack, which is the troopers. I spelled troppers. That's certainly not right.
Choppers.
It's Chopper.
The trooper's Lightbringer spouts a stream of searing light in a line that is 100 feet long and 5 feet wide. Each creature in the line must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw, taking 3d6 radiant damage on a failed or half as much on a successful one. So basically, this guy's got a big laser cannon.
That was the most flavorful way of saying I have a laser gun I've ever seen in my entire life.
You're welcome.
That was great to see.
Yeah, I am very accomplished. Thank you. Basically, yeah, he's got a big giant laser. And what I was thinking of, I was just playing Dragon Raja for a little bit, and they've got these like little tiny like robot things, and it just shapes into like a pistol or blaster. But with a special move, it turns into a giant cannon, and that's kind of what I envision happening with this. But that energy has to come from somewhere, so it comes from a power cell on their back. So I wanted to change the name of Explosive Tank, but that's already a pre-existing mechanic.
Okay.
So I wanted to keep it in line with that.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about this?
It's fun.
It's basically a stormtrooper.
Well, no. I was specifically going not for that. That's why his attack shoots long and is wide.
Yes.
So he can't miss.
True.
But the Stormtrooper feature in the book is what spurred that
Oh, is it?
idea.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, I should make a Stormtrooper with laser blasters. Yes. That's why it's called the Stormlight Trooper.
Yes. I like it. Fun. I mean, I would... Honestly, if I could, if the DM would allow, I would just be like, can I just shoot the tank on his back? It seems like a really...
Yeah, now you're getting
Big
into called
thing.
shots.
Yeah, and
You
obviously
assume
you
that-
can't. Yeah.
Well, I would assume that the tank is reinforced against it, but the problem that comes from drawing too much power or some sort of glitch in
Right.
the mechanic
It's
itself.
gonna blow.
Though I do think that could be really cool finishing, just causing it to blow up when the player
Mm-hmm.
kills him. Huh? Oh wait, it does say that.
Yeah. Oh,
when he dies.
When he dies, he goes...
Or when he rolls a 1 when he's refilling Lightbringer. I really like this. Do you guys have any other points on this.
No. I like the self shield. It's flavorful.
Well, it's just parry.
Wow. Brandon's savage against himself.
What?
He should have tech like play it during the show for the reaction. It's savage.
Well, I can't watch it right now, so.
Obviously.
All right, so that'll do it for our monster variants. Ian, I did not go with your your encounter for the sole reason that this one is themed for UltraModern.
Well, I also themed mine for UltraModern.
Oh, I must have missed that then. I read it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh,
What?
sorry, I changed it. Sorry.
I mean, I meant a computer AI in there, for example.
Yeah, you did.
You fail.
I did. Do you want to read that? It's not a pick yours, and then I'll just swap them later.
That's cool.
Okay.
I even just say, use it later if you have to.
Yeah, I'll use it next week's. Yeah, I was reading through. I was like, oh, this is really cool, but I don't feel like it's as much theme. Anyways, would you like to tell us about our encounter of the podcast?
The charitable donation. A powerful and respectable business merchant has hired the group for a task.
Nice.
The characters don't know this person is the face of a terrorist group, however, who specializes with bioweapons and warmongering.
Not as nice.
He deceives the characters into believing that a charity event going on to raise money for an accidental chemical plant explosion is actually a fraud case.
Oh.
They need to retrieve the money and deal with the criminal mastermind leading their ruse. The businessman warns that the mastermind is cunning, and if caught, will do everything he can to trick the characters into letting him go.
What do you guys think?
Wow. This is like layers. I'm gonna.
Ogre.
The minute I find out the man is actually the guy, I'm gonna stab him. I'm gonna be like, you did this for this long. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me of a concept that came up one time of I'm a businessman. And I think that there's a lot of poor kids out there, so I'm creating this Orphans of War charity. The part I'm leaving out, though, is I'm using the funds for said charity to make Orphans of War.
Oh, no. Oh, shit.
That's brutal.
That's bad. That's bad. I really like this concept because it does two things. It's got the more the business aspect that you define in like a modern setting.
Right.
Respect, because we see that the respectable businessman's got a really nice suit, is a pile of shit. Sometimes you can spot it, sometimes you can't. And he's hired, the adventurers. They think they're gonna do good. Oh man, their guys are running this ruse to raise money, but they're not using it to raise money for this orphans or for this charity. They're taking it for themselves. To do bad things, drug money or weapon mongering or what have you. Mm. And so the heroes go in thinking they're about to save the day. They stop this guy who swears that he's innocent, that he doesn't know what they're talking about. Please let me go. And, well, the guy already told him, well, you can expect that. He's a mastermind. Don't believe him. Mm. So, because they were warned ahead of time, I feel like they're less likely to just give into that. Yeah. And then to turn out that all that money pops up on the news that the charity was, to help the children's hospital money has been stolen. The guy has been murdered. Meanwhile, you see the face of the guy that hired him show up on the TV about to announce his new airplane jet for battle or his bioweapon for war or some shit. I don't know. But I don't know. It just seems like an interesting idea.
I could see this happening just in real life.
In real life?
I think that's the problem.
Savage.
Welcome to cyberpunk genres.
Yeah.
My
It's
God.
like, oh, wow, that's a little too real.
Right.
What's the joke with 1984 these days? Guys, it's supposed to be a warning, not a manual.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
All right, so that'll do it for our encounter of the podcast, the charitable donation. Austin, would you like to tell us about our magic item?
Sure. This one is called the Swarmer. It's a shotgun. It's a very rare. It does require attunement, of course. It's a shotgun with 2d8 piercing ammunition. It's a range of 30 to 90. Reload, 2 shots. It's a double barrel. It's two-handed, because shotguns require 2 hands. Don't try it with one. This
Well, then
gun...
you'll end up with only one hand.
or else
break your
it's gonna go... and you're probably gonna lose it. This gun has 2 charges, if that wasn't obvious. When you take the attack action with this weapon, you may use a bonus action to spend 1 charge to fire a magical insectoid shell that breaks open, releasing a swarm of insects, preferably the centipede. Well, it's a centipede variant, but on a critical hit, the target, to the target, it must succeed a DC 16 Constitution saving throw or become poisoned for 1 hour. This weapon regains expended charges at dawn.
I was trying really hard to find stats for a repeater so I could call it the Senna repeater. But I couldn't. The Senna-peter. Oh, God.
I wanted to call it the shot bug, but you know.
That was less interesting than the Swarmer. What do you guys think about this?
I like shotguns. I like shotguns that poison people, too. I like shotguns that shoot things.
Well, it actually releases a swarm of insects, too. Like, the actual monster stat block starts running around. It's pretty cool.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's
I didn't
italicized
expect
in
that.
bold. Yeah, no, it's the swarm of insects. The reason that you want the centipede one is because, they melt their face or something when they kill them or something. I forget what. There's something special about the centipede. That's why I picked it.
And there are some types of centipedes that are no joke in real life.
Yes.
Could
you imagine?
Like those red centipedes in Japan. Kill one, they release a pheromone that attaches to you. And the pheromone basically tells all the other centipedes in the area, kill this thing.
Oh my god.
Get rid of it.
So you kill one,
And then
they all come at you.
Oh, Jesus.
And then you get like 100. Oh my god. No wonder it's red.
The only way to get rid of it without releasing the pheromone is either drop it into boiling water or a fire. So you have to kill it with fire.
Death by fire.
Jeez.
This was certainly inspired by the previous encounter with the businessman who deals in bioweapons.
Oh,
Because I don't get to make bioweapons or modern weapons. So this was a new change. But this is a very rare weapon, and summoning a swarm of centipedes is powerful. So
Even in real life, I feel like having a shotgun shoot centipedes at people also sounds equally as terrifying. like I don't know. I might prefer the bullets, man. I'm just saying.
that's funny.
Ugh.
That'll do it for our magic item, the Swarmer. Our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast is, let other setting themes drip into your campaign. As stated previously, any sufficiently advanced technology would be indistinguishable from magic. So, you can use that to allow little snippets of future tech like guns, robots, or alien tech, biomechanical suits, laser guns, spacecraft, etc. into your settings.
Steampunk cyborgs.
Yeah, even if it's a one-off, right? Something they can't use again. You guys ever seen the anime, The Familiar of Zero?
No.
In Familiar of Zero,
Yes, but that was a long time
they
ago. I feel
have
like.
the Staff of Destruction. And it has got this, it's the legendary magical weapon that took out a dragon.
It's a bazooka, isn't it?
It was a bazooka. It was a stranger showed up in green armor and used his Staff of Destruction to destroy the dragon
Maybe I
attacking.
haven't seen this. Never mind.
And all it turns out, they finally go to use it to fight off a dragon. They click it, and there's nothing because it's been used.
Oh my!
And it turns out it's just a bazooka.
That is fantastic.
Oh, it was glorious because they're talking about 4 episodes. They're talking about the Staff of Destruction, and then they finally go to use it, and they lift it up. And they're not even holding it right. They're holding it like this.
Now I'm thinking about Gate.
Yes,
It
that's
just-
the other thing.
That just makes me think Doom Guy, just just somehow time traveled back and he was just like, oh man, good thing I still have one of these lying around.
Army of Darkness too, right?
Yep. I just like how though in Gate, a couple dozen people from the Japanese military goes into this fantasy world, and the kingdom's like, we got intruders. There's a couple thousand of us cavalry. We're gonna take them. Charge forward, guys. They're charged as horses and swords. I know, right? I mean, we have machine guns.
They just lay them out. It is nothing but savageness. And I think I used this idea once to introduce the Iron Elephant, where there was a rift that opened up, and this massive Iron Elephant was destroying villages and just steamrolling everything. And the players had to fight it, and turned out it was a tank.
It was just a real.
It was a fire-breathing elephant. Iron elephant with a long trunk.
They're like, what is this thing? Oh no, maybe it's an elephant.
Well, that's what the people were calling it, because
Yeah.
what else would you call it? It's a giant metal thing with a long barrel.
Right.
So anyways, don't be afraid to let that go in, whether it's ancient technology and they find it. Maybe that wand of magic missile is a heat-seeking, laser gun or something.
It's just an RPG. Just fire it.
So.
Now I'm thinking about when they dogfighted the dragon with fighter jets.
Oh yes! Oh
I
my
gotta
God!
watch
It
that,
was
apparently.
Gate and Familiar of Zero are just amazing anime. If you haven't seen them,
I'll
I gotta
have to
watch
watch
Gate
it.
now. Again.
Yeah. I have to
So-
go watch it. That sounds great.
Yeah, it is good because you got the fantasy people going into the new world and the high tech people going to the other one, and it's just ridiculous. All right, that'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip. Let other settings themes drip into your campaign.
Yeah.
Our player tip of the podcast is
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by doing your martial training. Today we have the martial training Vengeful Defender. The sword and
This was
board
cool.
fighter is a powerful ally, right?
Oh,
Often
yeah.
focusing on protecting allies with her sword and shield, but because of this, her damage often lags behind her dual-wielding and great weapon counterparts, right?
Yeah, generally, right?
Or does she? With a simple multi-class into Rogue and picking up the Repost maneuver as a Battle Master fighter, you become a Vengeful Defender. Enemies who attack and miss you will pay dearly for that mistake. Because now with this Dex build fighter, when somebody misses you, you can repost and get your sneak attack bonus. In fact, I would recommend 3 levels into Fighter and the rest into Rogue. Because once you get that repost, the higher that sneak attack, you specifically are setting up a chain combination to trigger your sneak attack multiple times in a round. Because
Right.
traditionally you can only do it with op attacks, right?
Right.
Right.
I think so, yeah.
That's the only time you're ever going to get your sneak attack as a rogue, or generally on another person's turn. But by multi-classing into fighter and picking up the repost, you can now potentially trigger it on other people's turns when they attack you.
And I'm guessing you're also choosing the protection fighting style.
You could, yes. But you can't do both, right?
Well, yeah, you can.
Takes a reaction.
Oh, that's what you mean.
So you'd have to pick or choose. But you take the protection to protect other people.
Right.
You take the repose to protect yourself.
I was going by the first line of text you're going with, so.
Right.
Which one?
The whole.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I changed it. So the idea is you would pick up the protection in order to help your allies.
Okay.
Right? That's the goal. But you don't have to do that. Just
No,
being
no.
near them is good enough generally. But by picking up protection, you can defend if they're weak. But if they're doing okay and somebody attacks you, you can choose to stab them and get that multi-attack off. But
Right.
not multi-attack, that sneak attack, which is going to eat up your multi-attack because you won't get that anymore. But the goal is to take the 2 attacks you have and trigger them as often as possible.
Right.
Specifically the sneak attack. So
Yeah.
No.
Just get some raw damage out there.
once again, sneak attack can trigger on once per turn, not once per round. So finding as many ways as you can to trigger that will make your repos deadly as hell.
Yes.
I mean, to give an idea, I put some numbers in here. So let's assume you got a +3 mod. You get a 1d8 +3 for using your rapier, right? Because you're going to use a rapier. You want to use a finesse, I guess you can use a short sword if you want. You get 1d6, which is 1 level into rogue. So now you're already doing 1d8 +3 plus 1d6. So even if you don't put any more points into rogue, you now are significantly increasing your damage output as a fighter. Because that can also trigger if you do go farther into fighter with multi-attack, right? Gives you more opportunities just to trigger it in the single turn. So now it isn't it's not the perfect balance, but if you're going for a defensive style, this is really a good thing to do, a good balance between those, I think.
Right.
Basically, regardless of each of the pros and cons, if you go with the riposte, your foe will regret attacking you.
Right.
So
It's a very it's a build where you're still good on your turn because obviously you still get the sneak attack.
Yep.
And I mean you're getting so many levels in rogue anyway, so you're still getting like evasion. You're still getting all these other really dumb abilities
Cunning
like
action.
Yep. And
Cunning action.
Or reliable talent in
Yeah, you
case
get all
maybe.
that. That's why I think that going 3 levels into fighter, maybe 5 into fighter, then the rest if you're going to go a higher level into rogue. But I think 3 would be plenty, and then put the rest into rogue to get those high sneak attack die.
Yep.
That you can go on both turns. So
Yeah.
it makes for an interesting defensive sword and board build.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So you can also alternatively not take protection, just keep the shield and pick up the dueling fighting style.
Yeah.
To increase your damage as well. So
And it gives you guys a crit fishing.
crit fishing, yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else on that?
Nope.
All right, that'll do it for our player tip.
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by studying that